2 years in the making. Finally here. We finally doing it. I got one question for you. How you holding up? This is the podcast. How you holding up podcast. And every time we speak, every time you hear me speak, every time I have a guest or every time we interact, that's the first question that I want to ask. How you holding up? Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, what do you mean by that? Why are you asking that question? I've been through a lot of things in my life since birth. And I grew up bitter, angry, upset, quick-tempered. But I also grew up joyful, happy in some instances. Just a lot of mixed emotions. Because of course I'm human, right? A lot of things could have been alleviated had I been asked that question. How you holding up? I'll give you a synopsis. For those of you who don't know, I'm a music artist. I go by the name Brooklyn Boone. Yes, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. And wasn't raised by either one of my biological parents. Both of my parents were heroin addicts. Unfortunately, my biological mom's passed when I was 7 years old from AIDS. My pops wasn't around, he was absent. But given those circumstances, that can leave any child at that young age wondering, confused, lost. I don't recall being asked how I felt, about that situation, or when I did receive the news that, the family that I was raised by, sidebar, thank you to the family that I was raised by. You guys did a phenomenal job. I know y'all did what y'all could based off what y'all knew, what y'all experienced, what y'all had, the means, you know, and it goes deeper than what I'm thanking you for. But I appreciate you all, every one of you who had a part with raising me. All glory goes to God, of course. Um, but yeah, I feel like had I been asked that question, how you doing? I know, mom and pop aren't around and I hear, but how are you doing? How are you feeling about this? I think a lot of things could have been resolved. You know, I was speaking with a great friend of mine, A1 Tati, no days off, hairstylist here in Miami, not too long ago, and she mentioned to me after us having, in-depth conversations, she mentioned that it sounds like the inner child in you is still hurt. She might be right. She might be right. 2 years ago, I started enhancing my relationship with God. I wanted to get closer, and a lot of things come with that. Once you want to do right, you know. But I started seeking God, man. I've always had faith, but I wanted to take Him more serious. Unfortunate circumstances has happened to where He catches your attention, and I know a lot of you can relate. Just like Job, you know, just like Joseph, just like everyone in the Bible who, has had something stripped away from them just so we can draw near to God and test our faith and a number of other things. I came up with this song in 2018 called Holding Up, not knowing that, not knowing the gold, not knowing the potential that it has and that it had at that moment, because I was just living in the moment, speaking on what I experienced, and all of my music, whether former, current, or future, God willing, will consist of what I know, what I've experienced. I will never speak on something that I haven't experienced, whether vicariously or whether personally. I will always speak on what I know, and I will always have a precept to back it, whether it be a Bible reference, scripture, or whether it be someone who has lived in that moment, even if, because there's been moments where it was just me and God, so you gonna have to take my word for it. um, but yeah, man, 2 years ago, came up with this idea to speak on things as such. How you holding up? I believe that this one question can resolve a lot of issues because where I'm from, New York, shout out, pardon the noise in the background, it's a truck, moving truck, but hopefully you can still hear me and make out the noise in the back. But this question with like from New York, yo, what's good? How you? The typical answer, oh, I'm alright, I'm good, how you? You know. But do we really consider our current being, our state of being, or is that just something that we say just to brush it off and say it in passing? You know? I'm not sure, but what I believe, what I feel is we should consider how we're feeling. So every episode from here on out, I will be asking you how you holding up. And whether if it's alive or whether you're viewing or listening to this video, I want you to really consider it and think about it and write it in the comments. Carefully consider though. So I'll ask again, how you holding up? In case you guys are wondering right now how I'm holding up, I mean, look at the view. Check that out. Check that out for a second. Right now, this current moment, I am exuberant. I don't have too many worries. I'm not anxious. I'm not depressed. I'm not stressed. This current moment, I'm great. Um, I am happy. Speaking of happiness, the official episode coming soon. We're going to discuss that. So, where I am, it is Monday, April 3rd, 2023. This is just the beginning. This is the genesis of How You Holding Up, the podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. May God bless you, everyone around you in your sphere of influence, pardon me. And may you go out and enjoy the day. Brooklyn Boom signing out.